Chancellor Siverud, by authorization of the Board of Trustees and the university faculty, I now declare this convocation for new students to be in session.
Will the audience please be seated? Good morning. I'm Eric Spina, Vice Chancellor and Provost at Syracuse University. On behalf of our entire university community, it is my honor and privilege to welcome all of our new students and their families to Syracuse and to the start of what I know will be an exciting and deeply fulfilling academic adventure. I am sure these last several days have been hectic for you, but amid the hustle and bustle of traveling here and settling in, I hope you've begun to familiarize yourself with your new campus community and the people who make it such a special place. Foremost among those people are the more than 1,800 faculty, staff, and student peers who've been working diligently and energetically to extend our warmest welcome and a helping hand during this transition. I particularly want to acknowledge the student groups who have worked so hard these past few days. I asked them to stand as a group as I called their names. The Goon Squad and Los Colores move-in groups. Peer advisors. International peer assistants. Resident advisors, orientation leaders, and ESF student-to-student mentors. Thank you all. Whether you are a first-year member of the class of 2018 or 19, or a transfer with prior college experience, you're most likely feeling both a little overwhelmed and excited right now. But as significant as this transition is for you, it is every bit as much a milestone for your families. So let me reassure them right now. As a university, we recognize and appreciate the profound trust that you are placing in us. We are deeply honored to assume that trust, and I promise you that your loved one will be in very capable and caring hands. Students at Syracuse University, you are joining an international community of scholars. You are from 54 countries, from Bulgaria to China and Venezuela to Australia, and from 44 states, from California to Connecticut and Minnesota to Maine. We take great pride in being a university with great appeal to students from all around the world, because the rich diversity of perspectives and life experience enhances the educational process and inevitably leads us to a better understanding of one another and of ourselves. Throughout your time here, you'll be consistently challenged and inspired by outstanding faculty who are not only accomplished scholars, but dedicated teachers and mentors. Our faculty have distinguished themselves as MacArthur Fellows, members of the National Academy of Arts and Sciences, Fellows of the American Association for the Advancement of Science, and as award-winning writers, poets, artists, and performers. Yet, they are here at Syracuse because they believe deeply in the importance of undergraduate education, and they will engage you on multiple fronts, in the classroom, in the research laboratory, in community work, and in other activities that feed your passion and advance your academic and professional goals. Would the faculty, deans, and members of the senior administrative staff please stand to be recognized and acknowledged at this time. As you get to know your teachers, I urge you to seek out a faculty mentor with whom you can share your aspirations and goals. They can make all the difference in the world to your education and to your future, a future that begins right here, right now. We look forward to your years at Syracuse and to celebrating your successes. It is now my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, P.J. Connell, President of the Undergraduate Student Association at the State University of New York, College of Environmental Science and Forestry.
Thank you, Vice Chancellor. First things first, I'm the realist. Greetings, parents, faculty, staff, and students, and allow me to say a word you've probably heard more than any other over the past few days. Welcome. You're in for a great time. I'm going to be quite honest. I'm at somewhat of a loss for things to say. Aside from the fact that you've already heard from almost thousands of different people on campus, when you're about to embark on a journey as unique and powerful as all of you are, there are very few words that can prepare you for it. That being said, I'm going to throw my 2 cents in. I'll start by doing something all of you should. I want to thank Chancellor Syverud and President Wheeler for already proving their dedication to the continued success and improvement of our respective institutions. Get used to thanking people, for there's no way to get through college without a little help. It's funny, actually. Last year I shared this platform with an almost completely different group of people. It just goes to show how much can happen in a year. For example, in the past year alone, America fell in love with a delightful little snowman by the name of Olaf. We experienced the 10th anniversary of the ending of a beloved sitcom by the name of Friends, and Universal Studios delighted Potterheads everywhere by opening up a Diagon Alley theme park. More seriously, federal and state governments began a long-needed audit of sexual assault policies on college campuses with mixed results. Conflicts erupted and continued to erupt in the Ukraine and across the Middle East, and the Freedom Tower was unveiled in New York City. What I'm getting at here is that college is a roller coaster ride. I'm sure most of you have been told that these next 4 years are destined to be the best of your lives. Well, I'm here to tell you you've been lied to. I'm here to tell you that these next 4 years are whatever you make of them. Literally whatever you make of them. You could be whatever you want to be here. You want to be a Frisbee champion? Join the Ultimate Frisbee team. You want to be a lawyer? Test your skills with the SU Debate Club. You want to hit people with swords and level up? Then start LARPing. I'll tell you firsthand that if you were to go back in time and tell my past self that he would one day be speaking on this platform for the second time, he would have laughed and quickly retreated into the comfort of his bowl of Cheetos while rereading Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire on his futon. Now, do I still have that futon? Yes. Do I still reread Harry Potter from time to time? Yes, but that's not the point. The point is that college is a chance to start over. It's a clean slate. It's a chance to become or to continue being the person you've always wanted to be. I did it and I haven't looked back. You can do it too. I think I speak for most upper-class students when I say that you learn more about yourself in college than you thought there was to learn. The time has come to sever ties with the many comforts associated with home life and begin your journey towards independence. For some of you, that's more easily said than done, but the people and things around you, your peers, your professors, staff, even the very seats you are currently sitting on, are literally oozing support for you, so take advantage of it. So now it's up to you to cut the cord. I'm afraid that it'll have to be cut eventually, so it's better to do it on your own terms and jump out into the world. As a very wise woman once said, "It's going down, I'm yelling timber." Let's go yell timber together. Thank you. I'd like to introduce... Thank you. Before I leave, I'd like to introduce the president of SUNY ESF, a wonderful man. Ladies and gentlemen, SU students and fellow ESF students, please put your hands together for Dr. Quentin Wheeler.
Thank you, PJ. On behalf of the College of Environmental Science and Forestry, welcome to ESF and welcome to Syracuse University. As part of this rare assemblage of institutions of higher education on the Hill, you are joining a unique community of scholars and scientists, designers and engineers, explorers and problem solvers. If you do not yet know ESF, it is unique among American colleges in its singular focus on the environment, both natural and built, and on discovering sustainable options for human prosperity and well-being. There are fantastic opportunities to explore the natural world through our classes, organizations, field stations, experimental forests, and research projects. And Syracuse University is one of the nation's great private institutions of higher learning, offering a doorway to the universe of human thought and possibilities. Some lessons are timeless. Aristotle, 2,000 years ago, said that the roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. You will come to appreciate the truth in his words over the next 4 years. And for 9 centuries, universities and colleges have been places where new ideas are created, proven ideas are shared, and from where the leading thinkers of tomorrow emerge. Universities are the best reflection on our civilization, intellectual spaces where all ideas are welcome, where diversity is not only tolerated, but celebrated, and where we learn to debate even the most difficult subjects with open minds. Your generation is inheriting a set of challenges unlike any in human history, an economy that is bruised but holds great potential, a political landscape as polarized as it has ever been, natural resources stretched to the breaking point, uncertain implications of climate change, clear evidence of the coming of a 6th mass extinction event, the last one being 65 million years ago, and a population growing faster than agriculture is certain it can feed. It is time to recruit fresh troops to the front of these and 100 other battles. It's been said that the optimist is the man who says we live in the best of all possible worlds, and that the pessimist is the man who's afraid he's right. Do not accept the limitations my generation is passing to you. Rather, take the knowledge we impart, the lessons we have learned, and build upon, expand, amplify, modify, and reject them as appropriate to build a better world. Seemingly insoluble problems are not so much the result of too many obstacles, but rather too little imagination. Given the right mix of knowledge, ingenuity, sweat, and optimism, there are few problems that cannot be solved, and none that cannot be made better. Find your dream, that thing you are passionate about and whose pursuit brings you fulfillment and joy, and go for it. Between these two great institutions, you will find all you need to succeed. I conclude with a quote from Oscar Wilde, who said, "The world is a stage, but the play is badly cast." Well, it's time for the next act, and I hope that fate and our admissions offices have cast you in the right roles. Welcome to campus.
Good morning. My name is Boris Gressley, Student Association President in class of 2015. Welcome, fellow first-year students and families. On behalf of the Student Association and Orange Nation, we welcome you to Syracuse University. For the next 4 years, you will experience, cultivate, and be part of a new and never-ending culture that values academic excellence, diversity, and a rich history. You will experience a different environment, surrounded with multiple opportunities, the ability to meet new friends, make your own schedule, and most importantly, mature to become a well-educated citizen and future role model. SU is a university that will push each and every one of you to maximize your potential through innovative ways to ensure a lasting impact and positive future. These are some few things that SU will provide for you while you are here at SU. But now I challenge you to think about what you can do for SU in the next 4 years. What ideas are you going to bring to the table? What innovation do you want to provide and contribute? What legacy do you want to leave behind? 4 years will go by really quickly, and it's your decision to see how best you will use your time. Don't hide yourself, embrace this new opportunity, this new adventure, and use it for the future. Assuming we all live up to 80 years old, college just makes up 5% of our lifetimes, and the lasting impact can be 80% of your future. Explore, think, engage, wonder. Do something every day that will unleash your creativity and open the doors to further opportunities. 3 years ago, I could have never imagined myself standing right here in front of this podium and talking to you all about Syracuse University and the exciting journey that awaits each and every one of you. I too was nervous, anxious, and flabbergasted at the mere thought of finally being in college. I didn't know it at the time, but that anxiety was actually what fueled me to open these doors and excel at SU. I am not the only one, just one of thousands of SU students and alums that have stood in your shoes. I say these things to bring light onto the fact that we all have the capacity and capability to be great. It's there for the taking. Get an education, pound the pavement, do your due diligence, and become the greatest version of yourself. On the final note, the advice and tips you will receive in the next year will be thrown at you in buckets. As a freshman, you will have the unique opportunity of being in the position that every single person enrolled at SU right now has at one point. Whether it's your peer mentors, faculty advisors, upperclassmen, make no mistake, they see themselves in you. Take advantage of it. Find someone who you can ask questions and learn from. My doors are always open, and you can find me at 126 Shine Student Center. Today marks the journey of your journey at SU. You have the power to control your future here. So make sure you squeeze the orange for all that it's worth, and do it while empowering others and leaving a lasting effect. Thank you. I would like to now introduce Chancellor Subaru.
Good morning. A lot of speeches today. Mine will be brief. On behalf of my colleagues on the faculty and the staff, I welcome you all to Syracuse University. After my welcome, you are going to hear from Professor Christy Anderson, the Chappell Family Professor, the Meredith Professor, the Maxwell Professor of Teaching Excellence in the Department of Political Science here at Syracuse. She teaches and writes about citizenship, and we'll have about 200 of you in her class, Critical Issues in the United States, starting next week. There are two very different audiences here at this convocation who I want to speak to. In front of me on the lower deck of this vast space are 3,800 freshmen and transfer students about to begin their careers here. And above these students, watching over you as always, are your families and loved ones. I have very brief and separate messages to these two different audiences. So first, to the entering students of 2014, in a few moments, Dean Maurice Harris is going to ask you to rise and accept the charge. The words I'm going to speak to you then, and the words you will speak to me, are adapted from a charge first spoken on this campus 143 years ago in 1871. The chancellor who spoke them, Erastus Haven, and the students who heard them could not have imagined what Syracuse University would become in 2014. And yet those students in 1871 discovered many of the same things that you are going to discover here. They learned that education is not something bestowed on you, but something you earn through hard work and through discipline, and also you gain through unplanned and unexpected wonders that happen all over a great university, and you need to be open to at all times of the day and night. A good education encompasses the full breadth of all disciplines here, arts and humanities and sciences and professions. You're going to learn not only from your teachers, but also from your peers. And in the process, like the students in 1871, you will become a teacher yourself, and you will forge friendships that last a lifetime. Those students in 1871 eventually left this university a better place, and they became better people. They were followed by 143 other cohorts of students and countless faculty and staff, each of whom contributed here and changed this place. The university you see around you today is not just a bunch of buildings and people and course requirements and degrees. It's the accumulation of all the work and dreams and ideas and inventions of the students and faculty who came before you. So much of what happens here was beyond the imagination of any administrator. It was invented and learned by the students and faculty working here together. That includes the goon squad who unloaded your possessions the last couple days. Students invented that in 1944. That includes the Reserve Officer Training Corps the oldest continuing operating ROTC on any university campus, that includes so many programs and departments and clubs and activities, from the Daily Orange, one of the nation's top-ranked college papers founded by students in 1903, to the Krauss chimes installed in 1889 high above the bell tower, heard across campus and played by student chime masters for more than 125 years. It also includes more than 46 new student organizations created since last year's Convocation. So incoming 2014 students, when you hear and accept the 1871 charge at Syracuse University, I ask you to resolve to make this university your own. I ask you to build something here, to make something here, to leave behind something here that you alone can uniquely contribute. We all want to help you do that, and that's because we believe this is your university and you need to make it your own. And now I want to speak to the folks in the upper decks, to the parents and families and friends of the incoming class. I want you to know that 3 times now I have dropped off one of my own kids at a university. 3 times now I have sat up there where you now sit. 3 times I've been happy and proud of my kids starting at a great university, as you should be today. 3 times I've been anxious and concerned, and not because of the food or the residence halls. I've been concerned because I suddenly realized, sitting where you sit now, that there would be a piece of my soul walking around a campus often far away, beyond my ability to completely control or to protect or to influence. I suspect some of you up there right now are feeling what I felt each time I left a kid at a university. My wife and my family and I had poured so much into each of our children, so much time and so much love and so much energy and so much worry and so much inspiration. It was a labor of love, but it was labor, and we got very used to it. Indeed, it defined the best part of our lives. And then suddenly one day I was looking down from a balcony on my kid, and all the effort I guessed was worthwhile. We were successful. Our kid was ready to embrace a great university, or so we hoped and prayed. One time when I dropped one of my kids off at university, the chaplain of the school addressed us parents and acknowledged all we had done, as I have just done. He said, "Parents, you have done so much, so many great things to enable these incoming students to be wonderful and to take on a great university." And then that chaplain added one more unforgettable thing. "Parents," he said, "you must now give your kid one more great gift, the most wonderful and the hardest of all. You must go home." I hated that chaplain. I did not want to go. I wanted to watch my kid thrive in a university that offered so many wonderful opportunities that I never had. I wanted to make sure my kid picked the right friends and made none of the many mistakes I made when I was in university. I wanted to be there for my kid as I always tried to be there for the previous 18 years. But I went home. I knew my kid had to make his own way. I hoped that the university would have good people like Syracuse University and SUNY ESF do among the faculty, among the staff, and in the student body, people who would catch my kid and inspire my kid. But I did go home, as you must do. The happy news I can share with you is that after a few weeks or months, my kids did start calling me again, and I could still be there for them. I could visit on Parents' Weekend. I could help do laundry, lots of it. I could take joy each day and in a different way in my kids who I watched become adults. Parents and family, I thank you for all you've done and all you will do for these members of the 2014 entering class. Like all of Syracuse University, I am the beneficiary of your great work. Like all of Syracuse University, because of your great work, these students are our most sacred trust. Good luck to all of you, students and families. Congratulations.
Good morning. I'm very happy to be here to welcome you on behalf of the Syracuse University faculty. The fall, the start of school, remains a magical time for me, and I suspect for most all of my faculty colleagues. My own memories of elementary school, high school, and college, and memories of my children walking out to the school bus, and the present joys of meeting a new class of students, all of these combine to make this an exciting time of year. For you, this particular fall of 2014, though it's an exciting new beginning, is also probably a bit scary. This is a completely new situation, new place, with new responsibilities. It's less structured than high school, filled with new people, new rules and requirements, and comes with huge expectations, as you've been hearing about. So many possibilities, so many potential friends, interesting activities, courses to choose from. How do you manage all of these choices to produce a successful college experience? One where you're happy, where you stretch yourself and push yourself to grow intellectually, socially, and emotionally, where you become more confident, and where you develop an appreciation of your own capacities and strengths. I am here to provide you with one very important piece of advice, and it will help you make the most of your college experience. First, I want to convince you that this is advice worth following. So a bit of background is called for. In 1986, Derek Bach, then the president of Harvard, wanted to evaluate how well the university was educating its students and how it might do better. Why, Dr. Bach wanted to know, did some students have a great experience while others did not? To answer these questions, he approached Professor Richard Light, a statistician by training who was then teaching in the School of Education. Professor Light, with colleagues from a number of universities, developed a large research project based on interviews with 1,600 students over 10 years. They asked students about a whole range of things: how they spent their spare time, about their courses, what sort of advising they got, their perceptions of the quality of teaching. The researchers looked for patterns to see what factors seemed to produce happy, successful, intellectually engaged students. What student experiences and behaviors were most likely to improve learning and overall happiness? Based on this research, one of the most important predictors of a positive college experience was this: how strongly a student felt connected to faculty members. We often think of a great college education as consisting of courses, some of which accumulate into programs, majors, minors. But Light's research suggests that this is a very limited way to think about your college education. Now, you know that your social and emotional growth over the next 4 years will depend on the human relationships you build with your classmates and friends. Similarly, your intellectual growth over the next 4 years will depend on the relationships you build with faculty. This is what Light and his colleagues found. The students who were happiest and most successful did not just take courses and sit in classrooms. They had meaningful relationships with faculty who provided them with ideas, advice, guidance, and support. So here is my concrete advice for this semester. Over the next 3 months, get to know one faculty member reasonably well, and make sure that faculty member gets to know you reasonably well. How to do this? Speak up in class, ask questions and answer questions. Make sure that you understand the feedback that your teacher gives you, the grade or the comments on your paper or presentation. Tell him or her that you like or don't like an assignment, that you find a reading interesting. Have a conversation. Make use of office hours. In those interviews with Harvard students, the most satisfied, happiest students regularly sought detailed feedback and asked specific questions of professors and advisors. They didn't say, "Why didn't I get a better grade?" They said, rather, "Can you point out the paragraphs in this essay where my argument had problems?" Faculty relationships may be particularly important in your first year. I find that one of the biggest mistakes that first-year students make is to hide their academic problems. Ask for help. If you're struggling in my class, I want to help you. If you need advice, I want to provide it. The researchers working with Professor Light interviewed a sample of 40 students who stumbled academically in their first year. The 20 of those 40 who asked for help improved their grades, while the 20 who did not tended to spiral downward, less able to bring their grades up, feeling isolated and unhappy. Achieving this goal, building a good relationship with one faculty member during this semester, may require some bravery on your part and will probably require some effort and planning. You may need to make an appointment to think deeply about the ideas and issues covered in the class so that you can discuss them. You may need to start writing your paper long before the due date so that you can ask for feedback and advice. But achieving this goal will provide both immediate and long-term benefits. You'll be at Syracuse for 8 semesters at least. Even if you meet your goal only half the time, that means in your 8 semesters in college, you will get to know, well, 4 professors, and they will get to know you. These are friends you will be able to turn to for career advice, or when you're thinking about your senior year schedule, or about internships, or about graduate school applications. These are people who will be able to write knowledgeable letters of recommendation for you. They are adults who are vitally interested in your life and your ideas. You will be far better off and will have a far richer experience if you follow this one piece of advice. And if every one of you follows my advice, my faculty colleagues will also be better off. Having students who are engaged with the material, who want to talk to us about what they're learning, and who are trying to live up to our high expectations of them, that's what this is all about. That's why we love teaching. Thank you. It's now my pleasure to introduce our alumni speaker, a Phi Beta Kappa and summa cum laude graduate and a remarkable human being, Stephen Barton. Steve graduated in 2012 from Syracuse, where he studied international relations, economics, and Russian language, literature, and culture. As a student, he earned many distinctions for his outstanding scholarship and leadership, including recognition as a Coronet Scholar, Remembrance Scholar, University Scholar, and Class Marshal. A survivor of the horrific 2012 mass shooting in Aurora, Colorado, just 2 months after he graduated, he has since worked on the national stage to curb gun violence and in Russia on a Fulbright scholarship. Please join me now in welcoming Stephen Barton.
Good morning, and thank you, Professor Anderson, for that introduction. A little over 2 years ago, I stood on this platform, at this podium, in these robes and in this dome, to give a commencement speech for my graduating class. I was nervous, mostly about being the warm-up act for Aaron Sorkin, the Syracuse alumnus and creative genius behind A Few Good Men, The West Wing, Social Network, The Newsroom, among others. But while Sorkin may have given the better speech, I can pretty confidently say I had cooler plans for the summer. I was about to embark on a cross-country cycling trip with my best friend Ethan, from Virginia Beach to San Francisco. We'd been planning the journey for a few years as a sort of cathartic postgraduate odyssey. Go west, young man, but for the 21st century. In my best friend's words, we would ride our metal steeds side by side off into the sunset. Well, the trip wasn't quite as glamorous as all that. For one, there was a lot more chafing, but it was still a thrilling, eye-opening adventure. Ethan and I met countless fascinating, hospitable strangers, all while passing through some of our country's most beautiful landscapes. By the time we reached Denver in late July, we felt unstoppable. An acquaintance very generously invited us to stay with her, so we decided to treat her and us to the midnight premiere of The Dark Knight Rises, the newest Batman movie at the Aurora Century 16 Theater. Yes, that movie on that night in that Aurora and at that theater. And of all moments, on the 44th day of our trip, a number that is dear to the heart of every Syracuse sports fan. I was hit in the head and torso by a shotgun blast before I had fully realized what was happening. I remember hearing Ethan, who was not wounded, yelling at a 911 dispatcher through his cell phone. Our host for the night, who sat between us and whose ticket we bought out of gratitude for her hospitality, had been shot in the head. A winding, unpredictable cross-country trip had led us to one of the worst mass shootings in America's history. In a few short seconds, I had gone from feeling unstoppable to imminently mortal. I thought I was going to die, but I didn't feel ready at all. I was 22. I just graduated from one of the best universities in the country with 3 degrees at the top of my class. I had a Fulbright grant to teach in Russia, an offer from Teach for America in North Carolina. If nothing else, I had a cross-country trip to finish. I was able to escape to the parking lot where I found a police officer whose quick thinking saved my life. My best friend, Ethan, he escaped without physical injury, and our host survived, miraculously, without serious damage to her brain. I woke up 2 doors down from her in the intensive care unit of the hospital, a few hours after surgery, filled with more than 20 pieces of lead and a renewed sense of vitality. Shortly after I was released from the hospital, I returned to my home in Connecticut, where I found a package from an unknown sender sitting patiently at the front door. And included was a letter which I would like to share now with all of you. Good morning, Stephen. Many, many tears came as we heard the tragedy in Colorado at the Batman movie. It was time to pray for all of you, and I did. In June 1955, I married my high school, Cazenovia Central, sweetheart, and we lived in Syracuse University housing. Roger was a junior. On June 3rd, 1957, he graduated in Archbold Stadium. John F. Kennedy, Senator of Massachusetts, gave the address. A few years ago, we moved to Virginia from Skaneateles because Parkinson's was affecting Roger's life, and we wanted to be near a family. Later, Roger fell and broke his hip, which brought on dementia, and his world became a challenge. We shared 56.5 years together at the time of his death last December. I wanted to give you Roger's SU t-shirt because you both share SU as alumni. May you have good health, peace, love, and be safe on your bicycle. Blessings to you and others, Ellen. This is just one of countless packages, letters, messages, and texts I received from people connected to Syracuse in the weeks and months following the shooting. Their support inspired me during the lowest parts of my recovery, when I questioned what happened to me and why. And the people of Syracuse continue to inspire me. Whenever physical therapy gets tough, I remember meeting fellow students who survived cancer at the Relay for Life fundraiser that takes place every spring inside this dome. Whenever my mind strays to dark places, I channel the strength of the survivors of sexual and relationship violence, who I heard bravely tell their stories every year at the Take Back the Night rally in March. Whenever I start to pity myself, I think of the many families I met while volunteering for Habitat for Humanity in the city of Syracuse. People who overcame their own personal setbacks and challenges to finally buy their first home and turn their lives around. Today, you officially enter into this amazing, inspiring, orange family that stretches all across the city, the country, and even the world. Look around you at your fellow classmates, your new brothers and sisters. Like most siblings, you might not always get along, but you'll always be there for one another in times of need. All of you collectively will be responsible for creating a culture on campus of mutual respect, understanding, and safety. Spend time with your classmates who don't look, sound, or think like you, because they are the ones from whom you'll learn the most. Just take it from me, the guy who lived in an open double with a gay roommate from Jamaica who had an inclination to speak with a proper British accent. I think I learned more during my first 4 weeks at Day Hall than all 4 years of high school. Whenever you're at a party off campus, and yes, you might have heard we do have parties from time to time here at Syracuse. Whenever you're at a party off campus, don't just stand idly by if you see someone else in trouble. Speak up, just as you wish someone else would do on your behalf. And if you're ever in doubt, just think of my pen pal, Ellen, who reached out to a stranger during the lowest moment of his life. What would Ellen do? The coming weeks and months are going to be challenging. They are for everyone. But don't worry if you don't find your best friends during your first semester here. It took me 2 years. Just support each other, as good siblings do. And before you know it, it'll be that day 4 years from now when you'll be in this dome, in these robes, walking across this platform behind this podium. I can promise you, Mom and Dad will cry again. Congratulations, classes of 2008 and 2019, and your families. Thank you.
Will Maurice Harris, Dean of Admissions, please present the incoming classes of 2018 and 2019.
Chancellor Severud, it is my honor to present to you our incoming class of students to receive your charge. Will all new students please rise and remain standing to receive the Chancellor's charge? Accepting the charge on behalf of the class of 2018 and 2019 and our transfer students is Jemiah Powell of the SI Newhouse School of Public Communications and Stephen Gilbalt of the College of Visual and Performing Arts.
Chancellor Severud.
This charge is taken from a speech by Erastus Haven, Chancellor of Syracuse University, on September 14th, 1871. I charge you to embrace your part in a great university. A university is a place of genuine life and of patient, disciplined thought. It is a place where muscles must be trained, where inventions must be created, where sciences, arts, and religion must be mastered, and where the conscience must be enlightened. At this university, there must be study and thought without limit and without end. Other schools have a narrow curriculum. We assign to you a definite beginning, but we direct you to no one end. Somewhere along the way at Syracuse University, you will become the teachers, and the teachers will learn from you. Original study and imagination will never cease. Like all great humane institutions, your school will be constantly changing and will never be complete. Yet we will always enable every one of you to increase your learning, your ability, and your success. I charge you to thrive here, to learn here, to teach here, to make lifelong friends here, and most important of all, to seek knowledge without end.
Chancellor Severud, on behalf of the class of 2018 and five-year program students in the class of 2019, I am honored to accept your charge.
Chancellor Syverud, on behalf of all transfer students, I am honored to accept your charge. Do you accept this charge with us? We hereby accept your charge to work hard, thrive, and seek knowledge without end.
Thank you.
Members of the class of 2018 and 2019 and transfer students, it is my honor to welcome you to Syracuse University. Now, in honor of our Syracuse University tradition, please join together for the singing of our alma mater. Will the audience please rise? The band will play the alma mater one time through so that you may become familiar with the melody. You will find the words written in the program.
Where the veil of Onondaga meets the eastern sky, proudly stands our alma mater on her hilltop high. Flag we love, orange, float for aye, O Syracuse, O thee. Loyal be thy sons and daughters to thy memory.
We will conclude our program today with the recessional. After the recessional, we invite students and their families to please come to the floor of the dome and join us for lunch on the turf.